Now, I know it is really bad timing releasing this review of Nemophila's last album. It just happened to be finished editing when the news dropped about Saki leaving the band. So I do apologize for that, but I figured let's still release it because it'll be good timing also maybe to just remember some of the great songs that they just did on this recent album. And it's just a fun video just talking about how we rank the songs and things like that of the album. So I hope you guys still enjoy it anyways. I know it's kind of a little rough topic now that for some fans, Saki leaving Nemophila is pretty devastating, including for myself, because I really love this band and I was really looking forward to what they were going to do next. I mean, when I say this is how much I love this band. I was going to put them number one in my ranking personally for one of my favorite bands out of Japan. Alongside Bandmade, Maximum Hormone, Bave Metal. Those are like, my four music groups that I really enjoyed. And I consider them to be taking over that top three since Maximum Hormone doesn't put out anything anymore. But so for me, it really, really sucks because when a member like this leaves the band, it's going to be hard for me to listen to more music from them. I will still give it a chance, of course. I'm looking forward to hearing it. And I can't wait to hear what they do without Saki being in the band. I just don't know how it's going to sound, though. I mean, I love the quirkiness of the writing from the other members more than what Saki did, but I appreciate Saki being there because I feel like from her background, she set a solid metal tone throughout the entire music. And I think it's really cool to have the new metal background and maybe some of that old school background of metal, in my opinion, mixed together. It just makes for really good dynamics in a song. So I'm sorry, guys, that if this hit you harder than usual. And then Tamu put up a video called Life. I'm sorry, she didn't put up a video called Life. Tamu put up a video of her doing a drum playthrough. I don't know if it was kind of in response to the whole situation that just happened. It kind of, watching it, it definitely shed a tear watching it. It's sad. Man, it sucks. It just sucks. It sucks losing a member, any member in that band, for them losing any of them. It's going to be really hard to replace, in my opinion. I don't know how. I'm glad that they're just going to keep going as a four-piece. I think that's the best way to go about it. I don't think they should add another member, not with this band. This would be really hard to fill such unique shoes in this case. So anyways, I'm going to stop talking about it. And let me know what you guys think about the whole situation down below in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed this album review anyways. Just remember, just take this in good fun. We were just having a good time. We didn't think this was going to be happening. We were just, putting another spotlight on their latest album since it's been out for a while now, and we've had a few listens to it. Let us know what other albums you would like us to review next. We're thinking about Sim. We'd be curious to see what you guys want us to do. Remember, this is all in good fun. Let's see what they come up with. Let's see what Nemophila does as a four-piece. It could be fucking spectacular. You still have 4 heavy hitters in this band still, so they can still release great things.
I found it kind of a little bit forgettable,
Forgettable! Ranking all the songs from Nemophila Evolve album. We're going to also compare it to what everyone else thinks about this song.
Now, we're going to be ranking these songs on a tier list, S obviously being the best and D being the worst. We're going to go based off of 3 categories: creativity, technicality, and catchiness.
The catchiness is going to have the most weight. Technical will have the second most weight, and creativity will have the third. Because we feel like that'll get us closer to what other people think. Eric told me his favorites before we started, and I'm very interesting.
Let's just say there's going to be a war.
There fighting might happen. Let's start off with the first track, Enigma. So catchiness Yes.
Top tier, yes. Creativity, I would give that a low ranking just because there were so many influences we were able to point out. But on the flip side, there's also the fact that they kind of made it their own style and they were able to incorporate multiple influences in the song.
And technical is not very technical, I would say, unless you're talking about Tamu's drums.
Yeah.
Mayu's vocal abilities. I'm going to go with B tier.
B tier.
I can't put it above A and S just because those other two categories aren't like top notch.
All right, I agree with you.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go
Me
B
too.
on that one. Rise, I'm just going to tell you S tier out the gate because that's like quintessential Nemophila. It's creative, it's catchy, and it's technical. Has all three of it.
I found it kind of a little bit forgettable, you know?
Forgettable!
Forgettable, but I totally agree. You know, objectively speaking, I think you're right.
Let's just give ourselves a refresher on this.
That's a catchy chorus.
It is. Did I convince you?
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you, dude. I just let my my preference kind of take over on that one, but
okay.
I totally agree.
Odyssey. Interesting one. If we're being honest, it's catchy.
It is very
It's
catchy.
catchy.
The chorus
It's
especially.
S tier
Yeah.
catchiness. It's not my favorite song on the album because there's these two parts of auto tuning that are really recognizable that drive me nuts. So the technicality of it goes down the drain for me.
I mean, it's also a slow song. How much technicality can you hide in there?
If we're talking about production is actually phenomenal other than the auto tune parts.
The production is very consistent throughout the album.
Creative, I say
Very
no.
low. Yeah,
I say no.
very low.
I say D on creativity.
Sounds like every other Japanese ballad.
I can't say it sounds like every other Japanese ballad. It sounds like every Western ballad crammed into one, which I give them points for that being creative. I agree. Odyssey will go B. We'll go B. Night Flight. S tier catchiness, 100%. Super fucking catchy. That one I have like no doubts in my mind. Creativity, probably really low. Technicality, very low.
That creativity, I'd probably put, mid tier. I think B would be appropriate. Catchiness really saved that song.
I feel like Night Flight should be C though. It's not saying I hate the song. We're just off the three categories we're going. That's how we're ranking this.
It's also hard to put, a Nemophila song C tier below.
I know, you gotta be fair though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go C. OSKR.
Oh, the Disturbed song.
Oh my god! It is! Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh! Ah! I'm never gonna unhear that now.
There's a lot of Western influence on this record.
What are you hearing? What else are you hearing right there? on the
I
rest
hear
of it?
a little bit of Shine Down, Disturbed in the beginning. They add vocal lines like that in like almost every song, but it just helps in making the song a lot more catchier.
What he means is they always add a catchy chorus. I
Yeah.
absolutely agree. Everyone's saying S tier in the chat.
I think A is a fair.
I think A's fair, yeah. It's funny. So we were talking about before we did this is Enigma is a song that always gets better and better for me, right? But there's a song in here that actually becomes less and less, which is weird. Amaterasu kind of keeps going lower and lower on my playlist. I don't know why, but then I did listen to it again today, and I was like, oh, I enjoy the chorus. I guess it just depends on my mood. Again, another catchy song.
They're all catchy.
They're all fucking
They're all
catchy.
but they're all different degrees of catchiness. I like the Bloodywood influence on it. I think they made that their own.
I say C tier for that song. What do you say?
B,
All right, we're going with B.
that's fair. I think.
Justice. I was looking forward to the song the most. For technicality, S tier, 100%. Catchiness, though. This is probably their least catchy song. As far as technicality, fucking up there. It's a really technical song.
Bro, this sounds like Slipknot.
It does sound like Slipknot in the beginning. You know, they just did a cover album. Slipknot was on that cover album. So
Okay.
we're hearing a lot of influences from the actual cover album itself. What do you think?
It's really good.
Bro, I gotta say
I know.
S tier, man, but I know that's not being fair. That's just my bias coming through.
I agree. I think it's totally worthy of either S or A.
All right, S or A, chat, go. We'll go with what you guys say on that. This is really hard with Nemophila. We're trying to be as harsh as possible.
Trying to take out our biases.
Yeah, we're trying to. It looks like everyone in the chat's agreeing with us. 80% voting for A.
A? Look at Chad being fair as fuck.
Yeah, I know.
Look at that. Proud of you, Chad. Good job.
Hammer Down. Hammer Down.
Personally, one of my top 3 in the album for sure. Strictly for nostalgic.
What's the
feel.
nostalgic feels that you get from Hammer Down?
Just that early 2000s kind of metalcore sound. 2012 to be specific. Not metalcore, post-hardcore.
This is the same person that wrote Mirror Mirror with Baby Metal.
Yes, I remember someone said that.
Yeah, and this riff is very similar to their riff. And I absolutely love Mirror Mirror. This one has a little bit technicalities, more technical stuff at the end of the riff. So for technicality, definitely up there because that's a hard riff to play. For me, it's B. You say S. So that's
Taking my
Hammer
bias
Down.
out of it, A or B?
I think A is fair
A?
for that. Alive. Somewhere low on the tier list for me.
Oh, the Electric Callboy song.
I don't really hear the Electric Callboy because the Electric Callboy has a specific sound. It just doesn't sound like it to me. But I get why people think it sounds like that. If anything, Night Flight's closer. I hear it there. Not as produced or like really compressed and mixed like the Electric Callboy. In this, you feel like human. Like humans are playing.
So far, creativity, I gotta give it a D tier, man.
Well,
Just
let's
that
keep it going.
opening bass line, I've heard it a million times.
I just love how that they have that Egyptian kind of style scale going off on the right with the piano bends. I have to go D on this one.
I agree
Because
with you.
I'm not a fan of the chorus. It's not really that technical. on
I'm
that
going
one.
D with it too.
Yeah.
It's a weak song.
All right, Yell. This is the
Argue a
one
little
that
bit.
the whole community is going to be fighting with Eric and I on.
I love this song. It's one of my top 3, A tier.
I don't feel like it is creative for Nemophila because it's pretty much their life song, in a different form. But Life is a better song than Yell, in my opinion.
It's raw and emotional, you know what I mean? It wasn't mixed at all like the other ones were.
Let's just leave this chat. I go B on this one. It's just something about the spacing between the chords. Like, that's pretty hard to do, actually, when you go learn that on guitar. Just make sure you have the proper spacing, letting everything breathe. She has, like some cool vocal runs that are happening in the verse that I really enjoy that's not in the rest of the album. I remember hearing this and thinking there's some parts in the bridge that I wish were better. It's a good song. It's a good ending to the album,
Yeah.
So I have to say B. We'll let the chat have the final say on that one. And then we're going to go look at what everybody really thinks about the album, all right? And this
That's
is
gonna be interesting.
based off of views, okay? How many times these songs get listened to? 64% B.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have to agree. I almost would say C just because I think B's fair. Rise was the only one we put in S tier. Wow. Because, that's just quintessential Nemophila. That is Nemophila,
That is them. I'm happy with the list.
You ready? You want to see what everybody else voted on this one?
Let's go.
I'm telling you right now, the list is fascinating. I would have never guessed it. For the least favorite song off the album by the community, Yell.
You can't sit with us!
That is everyone's least favorite, Eric.
Damn.
Alive is 9, which we were pretty accurate. We weren't a fan of that one. So we had that at the bottom of the list. 8, Justice. Wow. That's pretty low. I could see why, though.
Yeah.
It might be too jarring. They just want to enjoy the music, I don't know. I enjoy technical stuff. Apt A came in 7.
So I'm not that alone.
I enjoyed it on the first listen. As I listened to it more, I was like, yeah. Oscar is 6. Number 5, Hammer Down.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
That style of music, genre-wise, is not everybody's cup of tea. So.
This next one is the one that shocked me. Enigma at 4. I thought a lot of people didn't like that one, and it was up there. But I can see why people like it. It's a good song.
Yeah.
Odyssey, number 3. Number 2, Night Flight. That's shocking. That was lower on our list. And Rise, number 1. So we agree on that. Night Flight and Odyssey is where we diverge.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. A lot of you could say, well, Rise and Night Flight have been out longer, and technically Odyssey has been out longer, but Hammer Down was later in the track list and it went up. It'd be curious to see where it goes afterwards. Hey, if you enjoy this kind of content, let us know and we'll make more videos like this. We're thinking about reviewing some other albums. Like, comment, subscribe if you like this video, guys. Join us live on YouTube Wednesday or Sunday. We'll always be live here. See you. Bye. Bye.